Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, everyone. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Elixir Specialty Coffee. Looks like whiskey, feels like tea, made from coffee, and unlike anything you've tasted before, head to elixirspecialtycoffee.com and enter the code IMAPITFORWARD to get 10% off your first purchase. While you're there, check out the Coffee for the Frontline initiative that Map It Forward is doing in conjunction with Elixir Specialty Coffee. Today on the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, we're talking about opportunity and the fact that it's everywhere that you look right now. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because I'm hearing from people that are saying, how do you find opportunity if you're not used to being that kind of person that looks for opportunity? And I thought, what a fantastic question. A lot of us are being forced into a situation where we are having to do things ahead of perhaps what the trajectory of what we would have had to learn them is. What do I mean by that? So let's say you had decided that you were going to work for people for 3 or 4 years before you started to find mentors that were going to get you ready to open your own business. Well, the opportunity right now is that may not be the luxury that you have, and you have to learn on your feet and try and innovate right now. And you will have missed the opportunity to have been mentored in real time, opening businesses by the people who you were hoping to develop relationships with. Now, as the way life goes, learning how to be adaptive, learning how to see opportunity is a life skill that you can take into all the parts of your life. And when I say, and I say this often in the workshops that we run, the webinars that we run, a lot of the podcast conversations that I have with entrepreneurs, this idea that business is going to teach you everything you never wanted to know about yourself. And that's the reason you should do it anyway. Right now, we're hearing from a lot of people that are talking about how hard business was in the past and how grateful they are now in the middle of this pandemic that they took the strides to experience those moments, because having gone through doing hard things better prepares you for when hard things show up. The thing that is so great about that is what it prepares you for, and it is seeing opportunities, being adaptive. So opportunities are not something that everybody knows how to recognize. And it's important to understand what your acumen is for seeing opportunities. And if you're not somebody that typically looks for opportunities and how to take advantage of them, this is definitely a muscle that it's time to start developing. Because, seeing opportunities and taking advantage of those opportunities is a muscle. And it's not something that you should just assume you'll either know how to do or not know how to do. It is something that you should work at developing. So how do you see opportunities if you've never done it before? It's a great question. And the answer lies in looking for where the problems lie. Now, if you spend any time looking for problems, you'll know that the key skill that's required there is observation. And so observing the people around you, observing what the industry is doing, observing the chatter that's going on social media, asking what problems people are experiencing. The answer of the solution to how to recognize what the opportunities are that are out there is in observing what the pain points and problems are out in the community. Once you see those pain points, once you see those problems, how to take advantage of an opportunity that is presented to you is to try and figure out ways that you might go about solving that problem. Now, one thing that you learn when you go on the journey of doing hard stuff is that coming up with solutions is as important a muscle to learn how to flex as noticing the opportunities. Taking a solution one step or two steps isn't good enough. You've got to run a solution in your mind or on a piece of paper all the way to the end of solving the problem so that you can understand where you're going to find logistical problems. So I'm going to use coffee for the frontline as an example of this situation. I had to work on this opportunity for a month before I could come up with something that was a viable option. I saw a situation that needed fixing. That situation was that we have an industry that needs to get back to work, and we have a public that wants to show their gratitude to frontline workers. The solution was getting people in the general public to pay for small businesses to give frontline workers stuff. Now, I ran that solution a number of times on paper in my mind. I executed a bunch of those things just to see where the logistical problems are going to show up. Now, I thought that we could come up with a solution in a few days. It took a whole month to run the whole thing through a bunch of different ways and test different things before we could come up with a solution that was going to be viable. And then when we came up with the solution, we move on to the next stage, which is the implementation phase. And the implementation phase, that's a whole other level of having to run things through. So implementing it is, who are the stakeholders? How are we going to connect them? How are we going to reach them? How are we going to market to them? And what value are they going to find out of this? That then unfolded another level of opportunities that we were able to get to through conversation with other people. So when the opportunity shows up, you're trying to fix a problem for someone who will pay you to fix that problem through business. You then need to come up with a solution, and that will take some time and it will take some practice. And don't knock yourself down for not seeing things through perfectly, because a part of doing hard stuff is learning how to problem solve on the fly. Then when you've got that, have conversations with people about the ideas that you've got, whether it be mentors, whether it be your colleagues. Ask them to poke holes in what you're doing. They are doing you a favor. Don't take it as a criticism. Ask them to tell you why it won't work. If you can figure out solutions to their reasons why things won't work, then you can move on to the next phase, which is the implementation phase. And with the implementation phase, you will start putting your opportunity and solution into action. And then you may very well see other opportunities that stem on from that drive your idea, your innovative opportunity to a whole new level. And that's how we developed Coffee for the Frontline. And we have implemented it. We're in phase 1 of implementation now, where we're testing it with Elixir Specialty Coffee, and it's working great. We definitely had to iron out some kinks, but again, we're learning on the fly. The next phase of rollout is to invite a couple of other businesses into the fold, roll it out for them, and then open the program up to everybody else. It's been a wonderful learning experience, and hopefully it ends up becoming another business that came from opportunity that solves problems for a number of stakeholders. So that's how you can monopolize on opportunities everywhere and do it in a way that carries integrity with it. If you're solving problems for people, you are not taking advantage of people when they're down and out. When you're solving problems, you are elevating somebody's experience. Then you just have to find out, is it a viable opportunity? If people will pay you a number for what you're going to do that is higher than the cost that it costs to do it. I hope that's been helpful, friends. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day.